Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Bonjour, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I am delighted to have you here. I am equally delighted to still be in France, and knowing that I'm only halfway done with my trip is, what a gift. What a beautiful yes that I have said to myself over and over again as it applies to this beautiful country. I have left southwestern France at the beginning of the week and headed up to Normandy. And oh my goodness, it was such a beautiful train ride. And it's just such a fantastic way to spend a day. I'm in between client trips. I'm eager to welcome my Paris Normandy ladies next week, and I'm still flying high from our Charente-Maritime trip, but this is a beautiful week that I am spending with my dear friend Tony, and we are looking at all sorts of fabulous new things to do in Normandy. She lives here and she is showing me all the fabulous sights and secrets that I am eager to share with you in next year's trips. Oh, but speaking of trips, if you have been watching and you are just tired of waiting, not joining me here, I have space on my Paris Christmas markets trip. Oh my goodness, it's going to be amazing. It is December 4th through 9th. We will be visiting the multiple Christmas markets spread throughout the city. We are staying at the gorgeous Hotel, the Abbey. It is beautiful, right in the 6th. Oh, we are going to a beautiful Vivaldi concert in the oldest church in Paris. We will have fantastic lunches and dinners and walking tours and pastry classes and all the good things. So let's get our Christmas on in Paris together. I would love to have you. Of course, the link is down in the show notes to get more information, and save your spot today because I am keeping this one super, super small. Okay, enough about Paris, as if, but on to today's fabulous guest. We have Laura Sawosko. She is a Nashville-based singer-songwriter, a dynamic artist whose talents blend technical mastery with raw, evocative storytelling. She is a quadruple threat singer, songwriter, pianist, and guitarist. She's built a career that captivates audiences with her unique brand of Americana and country music. Her poetic narratives reflect themes of love, loss, and small-town life, balanced with playful wit. Her 5th album, The Songwriters, recorded in Nashville, solidified her reputation as a gifted storyteller and composer. And her 6th album, which has released this year, she continues to expand her artistic horizons, promising a fresh chapter in her creative journey. I am so delighted to share this beautiful conversation with Laura Sawosko. Laura, I am so looking forward to this conversation, to hearing all the things that are delighting you right now. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's so fun. It's my favorite thing to do. So I'm glad. Welcome to my playground. I'm super happy to have you here. I'd love to start with hearing how you're saying yes to yourself in this season.
Well, Wendy, I am saying yes to myself with my new album, Not What I Do, which was released April 18th, and it's being well received. And basically, this is my most honest album to date. And up until this point, just in my life, I've never been this honest. So I am saying yes to myself by being honest.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. So, in what ways, I mean, assuming your previous work wasn't
Right.
entitled Big Fat Lies, in in what ways does this new release differ from your previous work?
That's a good question. Although, yeah, they weren't lies per se, but I believe that we lie by omission. And, I would write my songs a little bit
Mm.
more poetically or whatever, where it wasn't really saying everything. And now this is not all ballads. There are some fun up-tempo songs. I find you can say even more if you jazz it up. And it's like, wow, with country music and Americana, you can just say anything you want. So that's why I love this genre so much. But no, in terms of being my sexuality, being gay, I've never openly talked about that. I mean, and Lord knows I've been writing songs since I was 8. But yeah, that was huge for me. And to have songs on the album about that, a silly song called Biscuits and Gravy. Also I have a song on the album about my faith. And I've always been a devout Catholic, but I never had a song about that. So it's like putting that out there too. So my faith in Jesus Christ, and then the fact that I'm from a small island in Wisconsin where I spent every summer of my life. And here I am in Nashville, and I never wanted to let anyone know in the summer that that's where I go because I have to be a very, oh, I am a serious Nashville musician. I don't move from Nashville. And then somebody wise once said, Laura, when you omit these things and you don't share these things, you're leaving out the best parts of yourself.
Mhm.
And so that was what inspired this album. And not what I do is music. It's not what I do. It's everything, that I am. I think you would understand that things that you are passionate about, it's who you are.
Right. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. What a gorgeous invitation that person provided for you, and how beautiful that you RSVP'd yes to your own party,
Right.
because it would be safer, maybe, to just keep going the way you were going. A part of being an artist, there's also an element of mystery to creativity. And I'm really fascinated to hear how you are balancing, not that you were purposefully omitting big thing, like you were just doing your job. Like, some people are at one way at work and one way at home, and nobody would accuse them of living a double life. They would probably say, oh, that person reads the room. That person knows how to be when they're here and how to be when they're here. But when that is creating an internal conflict where you're feeling like, well, I'm actually passionate about my music and passionate about my personhood, and there is a disconnect now. So how did you integrate that comment that person made into a manner that came out as this project?
It was just being purposeful in my songwriting. This entire album was written by myself. So all the lyrics, all the music. And I didn't want it to be like a diary where it's like no one can relate. I think it is topics that people can relate to. So it was just being more specific and purposeful in my writing. And that was fun. I realized how much easier it is when you're being honest. It just
Right?
flowed so much better. And I was like, not used to this. So I would be up in bed and I do most of my writing on my iPhone just because you can see it at any time of the day, the lights on. So it was like this giant puzzle that just came together. And I'm like, oh my God, That's another great lyric. And I'm like, oh, that's another one. So I love writing lyrics. So especially when you're being honest, they just flowed, and it was a lot of fun. Now it's, once you release it, that was the scariest part because it's like
Sure.
you're conceiving. I've never given birth, but this is what I can imagine it's like. I
Sure.
mean, at first it was just mine, all mine, and that was the pregnancy. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, that was scary releasing the album because now it's like people are going to listen. And now I'm
Right.
gonna get feedback and on what do they think. And so, yeah, that was scary.
Right. I mean, and I know you said you've never conceived, but
Right.
it's not even now this baby's outside of your body. You like enrolled her straight into middle school. Like there's an audience there that can critique your work in a way that nobody else can.
Right. And then with social media, things, can be, misunderstood. And that's why I just want to be an open book. I have
Right.
no secrets. So it's like, same with social media. I use TikTok as, my fun 13-year-old self and dancing videos or whatever silly things. And then I've got Instagram for the more serious music stuff. But I just want to put myself completely out there because I'm like, how can I inspire other people if I'm holding
Mhm.
back? And how
Right.
can I tell the younger generation to live an honest, authentic life if I'm not? I feel like a hypocrite. So,
Exactly right.
yeah. So I just think, especially young teenagers that are facing these questions about who they are, their sexuality, and even if it's not bad, just we're all kind of awkward and weird in our own way. And it's like if we can't be who we are, that's definitely an internal struggle.
Oh my gosh, for sure. And sometimes we just get so used to living that struggle that that habit becomes what we do, even though it's death by a thousand paper cuts, if not worse. How are you finding? I mean, well, let me say this. You have, for your entire life, been integrating your faith and your sexuality, but you've been doing that on the inside. How has that been as you've translated into music? How was that practice for you?
Yeah, I thought it was very freeing because so many people, just if I were just talking to somebody that I just met or a friend, they're like, wait a second, how can you be Catholic and gay? It's like sometimes I feel like a unicorn because I'm like, but I have to be honest that I've never had any backlash from the church itself.
Mhm.
Now, people and
Right.
individuals, yes, but I've never felt condemned, especially from Jesus Christ, who I talk to every day. He's my best friend.
Who doesn't ever condemn you for anything?
And I never felt that. So, even when I'm like flying and I'm saying my prayers, because I'm definitely afraid of flying, I always say, forgive me for my sins. But I can honestly say that I don't feel like loving someone is my sin. I'm a sinner, don't get me wrong. I do a lot of, things like we all do because we're human, but loving someone is not my sin. So I love integrating that because God loves us all. And they have a song that's called This Much. That's the name of it. And it says, He stretched his arms upon that cross and said, I love you this much. So it's all about how we are sinners and we are flawed, but we're saved through his grace. And so that's what that song's about. So it was easy actually to integrate everything. I don't mention being gay in my song this much, just how we're all, searching for grace.
Every single song doesn't have to be about every single thing.
Mhm. Exactly. That's good. That's a good lesson in songwriting. Where sometimes when I first moved to Nashville in 2010, they're like, Laura, just stick to that. I know there's many avenues we can go down, but just stick to that, and it makes a better song. So I definitely agree.
Right? Yes, and you can write more than one song.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, do you have were you going to say something? I just have
No,
like a thousand questions, but
no,
you
no,
can
no,
please
no.
elaborate. It can be
Um,
conversational.
I think COVID really also brought these things to fruition just because we had that time to reflect and to be away from society. And that was the time when I wrote my first song in this album, Home, which is about where I go in the summer with my family. And I think when you're actually there at that place that you just love so much, you kind of get used to it. and then it's hard to write about it. But then when you're away from it, like when I'm in Nashville, it was just so easy to see the amazing things about this place and write about it. So that was what first triggered that. And it was so well received, especially by people in that, community.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, that was the catalyst for the rest of the songs to come. So
Is that usually how your projects come together? Is there one piece or a theme?
not usually. There's usually not a theme. So that's why this is a kind of all over the board. And, but no, I'm not really into themes, albums. So the theme is honesty, I guess.
Right, right. No, I think it's so fascinating. So back to home and this place that you visit, tell me more about it. When you said an island in Wisconsin, I couldn't even geographically wrap my head around that. So I've only lived on the edges. So the middle is a little bit of a mystery to me. So I would love to hear about this place. It sounds amazing.
That's funny. I've only lived in the middle, except when I went to Arizona State. I was kind of on the west, but I've never lived on the edges. But yeah, I'm a Midwest girl, born in Illinois. So we would go to this little island in Wisconsin, which is at the tip of Door County. So it's like if Wisconsin was a hand, you just go up the thumb, and then there's this little island, 5 by 6 miles. It's you do drive a car on the island, and you take a ferry boat that takes the cars over. So I've been doing this my whole life, and so my parents thought, how can we give our children this paradise to be raised up here every summer? And it took a lot of hard work. We're a middle class family. We're not rich by any means. So I've always been taught you work hard and then you get the reward. So my parents sure worked hard. And my dad was an architect in Illinois. So he would come up every weekend to see us because he loved it so much and traveled back and forth the 6 hours. And my mom ran our restaurant called the Albatross. So I grew up with an ice cream machine and hamburgers and French fries and all that good stuff.
How fun.
Yes, we were very blessed. And also beyond that, I mean, go back in time where there's no crime, no pollution. You don't lock your doors. You leave your keys in the car. And it's like, wow, I have to retrain myself every time I leave because I'm like, all right, lock the door. Don't talk to everybody on the street.
Wow, I would consider Nashville such a happy, friendly place. So it's interesting that that you have to alter your practices so much.
It is, and the locals are so kind in Nashville, and you do have that Southern charm, and you do have that, but it's also growing so much, and we're getting rid of the mom and pop shops, unfortunately, and it's all condos and developments and big business. So there is more crime, unfortunately, with growth. So
That's
just
too bad.
in any town, I think you've got to lock your doors.
I don't lock my doors.
Well, see, no.
I don't lock my doors, and my address is on Instagram. So now you know, bad guys, if you're this deep into my podcast and you still want to rob me, there's nothing you can take from me.
Right. Well, that's amazing. That's very freeing. It is. So you must live in a small community as well.
I do. I live on Main Street, practically across the street from the police station. So you'd have to be like so bold or so desperate, then you probably wouldn't like any of my stuff if you're either of those things. So it's just I'm not the vibrational match for that experience. Right. So we're all good.
That's amazing. So yes, you know what it's like to have a community also behind you. So if you need something, if we have a power outage, do you have this? Do you have this? So yes.
Yes.
So that's why I wrote home. And it's like, people ask me, what's it like? Well, I'm like, well, listen to the song. I mean, it's the first line is, the fields haven't changed since I was just a kid. It's where I played baseball, had my first kiss. And so it's just all about that, because every time I get off the ferry boat, which I'll be doing in a month, it's like, wow, it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's still here. And that amazes me every single time.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So you said that you have been writing music since you were 8. How
Yes,
did this, do you remember this happening, or has this just always been?
I do remember. I do. I started with the piano when I was 6. I was very inquisitive about the piano that my father bought for my mom. And so, although that never stuck with my mom after taking lessons, and nobody in my family's a musician, which is so odd to
Oh,
say, not aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpas, nieces, nephews, nobody.
wow.
So that's again, I feel like a unicorn, which can be good and bad.
Yep.
But I wanted to play piano, and so it became my best friend. And it was my voice, it was my therapy. And I didn't understand my whole life why I couldn't project my voice. I know I took, lessons and choir, and they're like, use your diaphragm. And it never made sense why I couldn't. And if I tried to scream, it became a whisper of sorts. So
Oh man, that's a whole, I hope there's a song called that.
there's
Oh my word.
there has been in solo piano songs, because I do have a solo piano album as well. It's called The Voiceless. But I could not sing. So when I'd write my songs, I'd have the lyrics. And I did release an album when in 8th grade, and it was kind of like, "Ooh, I love you." It was so horrible. That's kind of what it sounded like. But it was and I don't even like to talk about that album. So when I say I've released 6 albums, that's actually 7. It can't all be Taylor Swift. Let's just put
Right. Right.
it that way. So it turns out that in my 20s, early 20s, I realized after many doctor's appointments, many, they told me I have vocal cord paralysis. So I have one functioning vocal cord. So they said, Laura, we can move the paralyzed vocal cord in closer to create more sound, but it's still going to be paralyzed. I said, do whatever you have to do. And he said, Laura, just so you know, your voice will be stronger, but you will never be able to sing. And so he also said, I've never seen anyone so excited for surgery before. So I said, let's just do it. So I had to learn, obviously to talk with my new voice, and screaming for the first time was amazing.
I
I was like,
bet.
wow. And then learning to sing, and knowing the limitations, but just so thankful to have a voice that I know I'll never be a Celine Dion, and that's okay with me. I love her music, but I've accepted, what I do. And so I think for my singer-songwriter songs that I write, I think it's perfect. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful to have my voice.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I love that.
And again, I didn't talk about this until this album. I didn't want people to think I was broken or weak. And so now I'm just putting it all out there, because I want to tell people that anything and everything is possible. And so, how can I inspire that if I don't talk about it? I am running a one-legged race in a marathon in Nashville, Tennessee, with some of the best artists in the world. And so, how can I say, this is what's happened, if I'm not honest?
Right. Honesty, we can believe, is going to cause us to be shunned, but it's what makes us relatable.
Right. It's scary, because I worry what's somebody else going to think. And my mom said to me this year, she said, Laura, the greatest prison we can be in is caring about what other people think.
Yeah, your mom is 50. I gotta tell you, like that, it's the beauty. You don't even realize that that's the last gift you open on your 50th birthday, is not caring what anybody else thinks. Not because you're mad, it's because, for me at least, I mean, I hope it happens to everybody else the day after tomorrow. You don't have to wait till your 50th birthday, but it's when you find your voice, your agency, your self-awareness is intertwined with your self-empowerment, and you just, I mean, it's like you were playing in your mom's closet and you didn't realize that you were getting big enough that you actually fit in that gown now, and you put it on, and that's it.
Right.
Like it's
Exactly.
just like you're this alignment with your own personhood, which I believe you are having with this project. It's like you have stepped in to your own power, and you didn't change. It's a homecoming, but you never left, but you
Right.
now you know you're here. But I mean, it's just beautiful.
It is so true that I never left. So when I meet somebody and they're like, "Oh, you're gay," I didn't know that. And it's like, but I have been my whole life. My whole
Hmm.
life. I've never, really dated a man, but, any of that. So it's like, why do I have to always introduce myself again and again? But I guess we all do.
Or you don't.
Yeah.
They can apologize for not knowing you, or no one can apologize and they can just say, huh, fascinating. Awesome. Have you tried that restaurant down the street? It's great. Like, who
Right.
cares? Oh my gosh.
Right. Yeah. I don't know why people would care, but I have to say, the island community where I go in Wisconsin, Washington Island, is has been wonderful. Very, very supportive of me. And I feel like a celebrity just because of our restaurant and because my family is so amazing. And so they know me from that. And so it's like, oh my God, my name up there is, if I'm calling anywhere, like the bank, I'm like, hey, this is Laura from the Albatross. Hey, Laura. So that's how
Oh,
they know me. So it's so funny just how accepting they were, because most people would say, wait a second, there's 700 year-round residents, and some of them have never really branched out of Wisconsin, and they accept something that they don't understand. So I am very thankful for that community.
yes. I'm thankful for that community on your behalf.
Thank you. I mean, I was so worried in my early 20s when I came out, to some people, not everybody, not the
Hmm.
island community. And I thought, no one's going to want me to cook their food if they know I'm
Oh,
gay. You think these things. And I thought, I'm going to hurt my family's business. And we were so successful, and we're not going to be successful anymore. So I don't want anyone to have these thoughts that I had. And I'm sure I know people do.
hmm.
But it was, yeah, a pleasant surprise.
I'm so glad that was your experience.
Thank you. And
Oh
it's
my
not
gosh.
everybody's experience. And so I was also going to say, when I was coming out, I mean, in my early 20s, and realizing, at first, you have butterflies and you're like, oh my God, this is what they talk about in the movies. I thought I was asexual. I thought there's something wrong with me. And then you meet somebody and it was like, oh my gosh. And it goes from excitement for a few months, and that was great. And then it's like, oh crap, I'm gay. And what does that mean? And now God doesn't love me, and now my family might not love me. And then you go into the pit, and then panic attacks. I was agoraphobic for a while and housebound. So I went through the whole gamut to come out on top. So it's been a long struggle of going back in the closet, out, back, and then moving to Nashville and having one of the gentlemen I met at a venue say, maybe he suspected something, and he's like, darling, that's something you need to just keep to yourself. Nashville's not into any of that. So I went back in the closet when I moved to
Wow.
Nashville. So it's been this constant journey, and finally, it's like, I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks. It's like,
Right.
so
Good
it's
for
been
you.
a journey.
For sure. And you've also arrived just on time,
Right. Well,
right? I mean,
a little late, but yes.
but you weren't ready before.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't have been the experience that it is now.
And I have, I think, more gratitude for my life than I ever had. So if I was, yay, everything's great, I'm 19, I would not have the gratitude that I have for my voice, for being who I am, for my faith. It really made my faith stronger during those times when you're praying to God, please change me. Please make me like everyone else, make me straight, please. And then I would try, to go out for the night, get drunk, kiss a guy, and then I'm like, oh, I feel, it's not right. I don't like it. And then, beating myself up over that. And so it was this constant struggle. And I'm like, to change me. And then, to find out he made me the way I am. We don't talk about that. And God doesn't make junk.
Right, for sure.
He doesn't make mistakes. So, yes.
And he doesn't have anything to forgive you for because he doesn't condemn you for anything.
Right.
I am a student of A Course in Miracles, and there's this beautiful line that is, you have to wrap your mind around it if you've been raised in church, but that forgiveness is the illusion that ends all illusion, because the premise of the course is that only love is real and everything else is an illusion. So God has nothing to forgive you for because he's never condemned you, because he's only love and he created you and you're only love and only love exists. So it has definitely been for me, and what the premise of the course is, a dismantling of a thought system based on fear and a rebuilding of a thought system based on love. So at the first, there are 365 lessons. So the idea, if you are continuing to be a student, is you just start over when you get to the end. So I'm in my third year of it, and it's fascinating to revisit these lessons that I had a lot of questions about when I read them the first time, because they were just inconsistent with my belief system that had been formed through the church that I went to as a child and into my adulthood. And it's been so beautiful for me to reconcile these ideas. None of them are contradictory to what I've always known and believed about who God is, but some of them are very contradictory to how people act and say in the church. So it's been fascinating to realize for me that the disappointments that I have had in my recent church experience have nothing to do with Jesus and have to do with the people. And so for me at this point, I have never felt closer to God and farther away from the church. So, all to say, I'm thrilled that you are in a community where you are experiencing the joy of both.
Mhm.
I am also very happy for me that I have removed myself from a community that wasn't able to do that.
So unfortunate that I hear that a lot. There's a wonderful artist. Her name is Garrison Starr, and I went to see her last week. And anyway, she was born and raised Baptist, always knew she was gay, was shunned by her community, her church, moved to California to find acceptance where she did. And that was a constant struggle with, Jesus, and understanding his love, despite what she received from people.
Yeah.
So it was amazing going to her show and her using music like I am to shed light on that, God is love, and it's okay to be different. And I think it's horrible when people hate in the name of Jesus. I think that is the worst thing you could ever do.
Yep.
And it happens all the time. And so people ask me, well, how do you still go to church? And it's like, it's
You're
I'm
having a different experience.
right. I'm thankful for my experience, and I went to counseling
Yeah.
with priests when I came out of the closet the first time, the first of 100 times, and I sat down and told them, and not one of, I would say, the 5 to 10 priests I talked to one-on-one said it was a sin. They just said, "Are you in a monogamous relationship?" "Yes, I am." "Well, that's wonderful, and that's great." And that was it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that is not the case for a lot of people. And, that's unfortunate.
It is. It is. I think we should all just stay in our own lane.
Well, exactly. And we all have a different experience. And so I'm thankful that, Garrison Starr is, finding her path,
Mm.
and that, I am finding mine. And um I made a few notes that I wanted to share with you.
Please.
Another way that I say yes to myself is also working out every day if I can, but mostly I don't put it on my to-do list, which I write every day. I have a list. And so this is just a part of my life. It's just a lifestyle change. And I've been doing that since my early 30s and moving to Nashville, where it was like that was new for me. And then COVID struck, gained a significant amount of weight, wasn't allowed to go to the gym, the parks were closed.
Right.
So it was like, oh my God, can I do this again? Can I lose the weight and be fit in my 40s? Because now my body and everyone's like, Laura, your metabolism is stopped. And so I'm like, oh Lord, is that true? So doing that again and having, the same body I had in my early 30s just from doing that. And so that has been wonderful. And that's how I say yes to myself every day, and eating healthy. That's saying yes.
It is. How are you exercising? What are you doing that's having this great effect for you?
For me, it's about half hour to 45 minutes of cardio. I love the treadmill. Now, that's a good question because my workout has changed since my 30s. I would jog the entire 30 minutes on the treadmill. And now I love intervals. And I just thought, I am getting older. I want to save my knees. So it still gives you that euphoric high when you're working out, which I love about cardio. But I'll walk for a good 20 minutes. I'll listen to a good podcast like yours.
Oh,
And then we get into the, heavy music and time to run, run, run. So it'll be like run fast for a minute, walk, and do that on and off. Yeah, about 6 times. And all of a sudden, the weight just dropped to the point now where I'm like, how do I gain a pound? It's like,
right.
I mean, working out and eating healthy is the key. Everybody wants, an easy answer, but there really isn't.
Oh, I
So
think that is an easy answer,
it
right?
is,
I mean,
I
I
think,
think, yeah, it's just you want something that works. I have a morning routine and people will ask me like, "Oh my gosh." So, well, I get up every day at 4:45 and then they're like, "Oh, yeah, they make that face that you just made." But just like you with this level of exercise and this commitment to consistency, when you see results, it no longer becomes hard. It becomes appropriate. And so I know the results of how this morning practice has changed my life in every way possible, except for my pants not fitting. But all the other ways, it has changed my life. So 440, it comes. I'm casting a vote for the woman I'm becoming, and that's what I do. So it's the same for you. I understand what you're saying. People want to know. I remember once I was asking a friend because the last time I had seen her, I mean, she probably had lost 15 pounds in maybe a month. It was crazy. So it's like, what did you do? And she said, oh, well, I stopped drinking wine and I don't eat carbs. And I was like, oh, okay, next. What did you do? Because I'm not interested in giving up either of those things at that point in time. So I understand what you're saying, how people would love, oh, take this pill or, sit in this chair and lift your leg for 3 minutes a day and you'll be a size zero, even though you never have been, all those things.
right. And I didn't do it purposeful just to lose weight. I actually did it for more energy, and to fit in my pants. So obviously,
Right.
it was like, what? My fat pants don't fit. I'm like, we all have limits, and that was my limit. And then I'm like, it's time to
I'm
make it
not going shopping.
right. I can't afford all this, so I'm like, I'll just get a gym membership. It's cheaper than shopping.
For sure. And you'll feel great.
Right. So yeah, so now it's like I just love doing it, and it becomes a good addiction where you feel so good. I'm like, when I couldn't because it was storming last week and it's like I can't, it was like, oh, I want to.
Yes.
Like you said, you feel so good and it works. You want to. And, also diet wise, I did. I did get rid of carbs, but you know what? I'm a cheesehead from Wisconsin, so if I had to pick cheese or carbs, I'm gonna pick cheese.
I'm going to
So
pick cheese
every
too.
morning, yep, I have a little cheese with avocado and my eggs and fruit, and I'm good for like 5, 6 hours. And then, snack on nuts, all that good stuff, protein, and then a healthy dinner. So I'm okay. I don't miss carbs. And they actually have some good pizzas with cauliflower crust. So
Really
now
good.
it is good. So now if I were to eat carbs, it just makes me feel so bloated that it's just not fun.
Yeah, I'm with
But
you.
everyone's different. Everybody's body type is different. So you have to find what works for you. It's not cut and dry.
Right. And did you work with a practitioner or anything, or did you just try different things on your own and then find what worked?
In my early 30s, I had a personal trainer that kind of also gave me good advice about nutrition. So she was amazing. And I just kept all of that info where I haven't needed anything else. But she's like, eat an apple. It's like a natural caffeine. I gave up caffeine when I had panic attacks in my 20s. So all I drink is water and wine. So I'm like, it worked for Jesus. So
Right. Who are we to judge?
it can be difficult in Nashville with being heard. And besides the success of this album, which has been very well received and has opened doors I've never had open before. And I have to thank Play Media, my publicist, for helping open those doors. And all of a sudden, it's like being honest and being heard, which was my goal for this album. It wasn't to be rich or famous. I just want my songs to be heard. So if I could touch one life, then it was worth it. It was worth all of it. And I didn't want to ever dislike music because music is one of my best friends. And it can be very difficult in Nashville trying to be heard. And so I thought, how do I make sure that I don't get jaded? Because sometimes people don't even listen to your music before they dismiss it. It's just there's so much talent in this town. It's almost like you love someone and you're getting ghosted on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's that difficult. So I thought, I'm going to dance every day. So right before bed is usually when I do it. And I'll just blast my headphones so I don't wake everybody up. And I'll dance in front of the mirror and be silly and just dance until I'm laughing. And I just every day just love music. So that was so important in this journey. And also, I would also listen to some of my favorite artists after that. Like people probably never heard of Lori McKenna, Brandy Clark, Randy Carlisle. These are people that are Americana artists I look up to. So then I would listen to them. And then I'd always have to think, okay, am I at that level? Do I believe in this song enough to put out there? So then I would listen to the master tracks of my songs before they were released. I'm like, yes, they are. I believe in these songs. It's worth the money and everything to back this project.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But yeah, it was a lot of listening to it. And I'm like, yes, I love it. It is at this level. I don't want it to be the level of somebody just playing in a coffee shop or this or that. I really have the bar raised extremely high for myself. I'm very hard on myself. So no critic can be more hard on me than myself. So I just, that's been a fun process.
That's so great. And I love that you were listening to musicians that inspire you,
Right.
and then listening to yourself and saying yes.
Right. And I thought if we were the
Amazing.
writers round together and Lori McKenna just played and my song came on, would it hold up? And I thought, yeah. And I couldn't say that before, but I can say that now. And I'm very humble as a person. So it is hard to always be, representing yourself. Like if I'm talking about the restaurant, I'm like, yes, we make the best burgers in the county. And I can say that when I was in a band and I was the keyboardist in my 20s, we're the best, we're the great band. But when you are the product and you have to sell yourself, you kind of clam up and it's like, oh yeah, I'm good. But now I've had to say, yes, this is a great song. Here, please take a listen. I have to put myself out there on social media every day and, listen to this. And it's a lot. It's an interesting experience. I'm sure you know what it's like having to promote yourself. It's not in my human nature, but it's necessary.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. And I think for me, what my practice has been is not to promote myself. Like I'm not saying, look at me, I'm doing, look at me, look at me. Not that you're doing that, but I'm just saying for
Right.
myself, look at me. I am saying, come with me. Like I
Mm.
want you to experience this amazing thing. So I can say, listen to this podcast. Or I can say, oh my gosh, you guys, I record every Thursday, and sometimes I have five. A couple weeks ago, I had six interviews. I'm obsessed with this podcast. I am not the same woman that I am on Thursday mornings, that I am on Thursday afternoon. It's so empowering and engaging and expansive, and I love it so much. I didn't have to tell anybody you should listen to this podcast. All I said was, I am lit up by the opportunity to have this platform, to have a microphone, to have a morning routine that has unlocked this desire to share my voice and has also empowered me and gifted me with something to say. Like, you can't, like, I don't, nobody
Right.
even has to listen. Like just hearing myself say that, I am filled up. So there is this, and I think you have this in this new project because it is so authentically you. You are saying, here it is. And I love myself so much. I love this life I've created. I've loved this beautiful art form I get to be a part of. I love that I get to share it with people that it resonates with. And I don't want to do anything else but that. Like, you don't have to, you're not selling, you're just like that vibration is so high and it attracts all the people that is meant for it. And who cares if 100,000 people who don't like it listen? I don't want any of those people to listen. So they're going to be, they're going to be in
Yeah.
the vibration of how you feel about this music. You just talk about how this unleashed something in you that was a homecoming. Like everyone's like, bye now, bye now, bye now. Like I want to come home to myself. How do I do that? And there's a soundtrack for it? Yes, please. So there's just this, I think it feels hard to sell ourselves because that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
I like that. Yeah.
Now we're just inviting people into this amazing narrative and giving them a voice and to find their own story in yours. Queen.
Well,
That's
that's
what
so
it's
true.
here for. Right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the whole point where I want to be the voice for the voiceless. And that's what music does, I believe. I mean,
Yeah,
listen to a song, it's like, that's my story. So I believe that this is other people's story as well. I also
exactly.
have a song about grief. My father passed away in 2022. He was
Mm.
one of my best friends. And me, my mom and dad, we always called ourselves the Three Musketeers, and we did everything together. And I spent summers on the island with them. And so, I mean, who gets to say that? They spent every summer of their life with two of their best friends. So I was so blessed. And then to have him die on the island in the house with me there, with my brother and my mom. So, I
Mm.
mean, it's, I still talk to him every day and I know he's with.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And so I had to write a song about that. So, it's difficult writing about grief and during that difficult time, but it's called Take My Hand. And,
Mm.
that was the music video single that I put out and how well received that was.
Yeah.
Again, because I think a lot of people can understand what it's like to lose a parent and to have the transition from them taking your hand as a child to you helping them when they're older to walk. And it's just, these life experiences that I know they're not just my own. I know they're not. And so I'm realizing that and it's a beautiful thing.
Mm. It's so gorgeous. I'm so happy for you. I cannot wait to listen myself. So please tell everyone where they can find and follow you, how they can listen to the album themselves. Tell us all the things.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me, because as an independent artist, it is such a pleasure having people like yourself, give us a voice through your platform. So thank you.
My pleasure. It's my life's work. I'm just shining the spotlight on all the fabulous women. So good.
Well, I enjoy all the stories and they're very empowering. So everybody can find me through my website. So if you can give them the spelling, it's Laura, Sawosko, laurasawosko.com, one-stop shopping. From there, you can find me on Instagram, my YouTube channel. So I have lots of good videos and my bio. Whatever you want to know, you can contact me through there. Contact me about anything. We could talk about jogging. We can talk about anything.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We will link everything down in the show notes, but thank you so much for your time. I am so excited about the fabulous success of this project and can't wait to see what's next.
Well, thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.